closer to your financial success. As you know, I am the founder and chief facilitator of Smash Debt Inc., which is a financial education company that provides financial leadership coaching, credit coaching, workshop facilitation, and foundational training and support for small business financials. And this is done all in efforts to create debt eliminators and wealth sustainers. So welcome to the room. Now, did you know that we as consumers, we as people, we tend to not have the wherewithal to really understand where our expenses have incurred throughout the year and what we are doing with the money that we've earned? And I want you to know that your expense history tells a lot about you. And what do you believe that your expense history will tell you if you looked at it at a glance? Now, if you don't know how you spent your money this year, more than likely you did not make good use of it. And trust me, that is okay. Because once you become aware and you begin to do things differently, you're able to take better advantages of the financial resources that you have and use them so they can be leveraged for your benefit as well as your family's benefit. But so many times we as consumers, we spend without consciously understanding the impacts of our financial decisions. The way to discover that awareness is by placing every single transaction into a specific category or bucket. Now, if we want to be great financial stewards, we have to be intentional with our resources and 100% knowledgeable about our spending, you guys. See, the problem is we don't take the time to categorize our income sources and our expenses on a frequent and consistent basis. And yes, I know it can be time consuming, but today I'm here to show you how to save time and categorize your expense activity as well as your income for the year quickly. So let me do my screen share. All right. So we are live on the screen. You should be able to see my presentation that I have before you. But I just want to show you guys quickly how easy it is to go through and categorize your expenses using automated systems. And that is the best way for you to be able to save time in categorizing your income is by finding a tool that can benefit you. And not only that, you have to be consistent and do it on a frequent basis. So the first thing that I want you guys to do before we get started with this training is to first pull out your calendars right now and pick a recurring day for you to set aside at least 1 hour to schedule your financial meeting. Now, one of the things that I do is I have a weekly budget meeting with myself, and I hold it where I just sit down, I go over my numbers, I update my tool with the expenses that I have, and I categorize them. And I want you to do the same. So if you want to make sure that you are staying on top of the activity that you're categorizing, your expense activities, make sure that you schedule the time to do it weekly, or maybe even monthly if weekly is too much for you, so that you're able to stay on top of it and it won't be so much that you're trying to categorize at once. So pull out your calendars, pick a day, schedule it right now. Another thing I want to remind you guys too is that your banking institution may also have tools similar to what I'm getting ready to walk you through. They may already have tools embedded within their online banking system that will automatically categorize your expenses for you. And they may even have like scenarios where it'll give you your budget versus your actual comparisons. That's huge. So if that's available to you through your banking, I want to encourage you to leverage that. Leverage that capability if it's available. But even still, you have to make sure that you check the assigned expense categories, because sometimes the banking online tools may miscategorize it. So you have to make sure that those things are being placed in the right bucket. So since I have several bank accounts and I like to see all of my activity in one place, I personally use Wave. So you see Wave up on the screen right now. I use Wave to consolidate all of my banking activity into one place, and then I'm able to categorize it and get a full snapshot of all of the activity and expenses that have been happening throughout the period. And so I use this to consolidate, review, and analyze all of my personal financials as well as the financials for my businesses. So if we go to waveapps.com, you can simply go to the account, go to the website, sign up for a free account, and log in. So it'll prompt you to kind of go through some questions or whatever. Once you sign up for your free account, it'll take you to a screen that'll look something like this. You'll go ahead and put in your email address and your password so you can get started. Or if you already have a Google account, you can sign up with your Google account. That makes it a lot easier. And then once you've gone in and set up the account, you'll be able to log in and it'll take you to the dashboard. And this is what you'll see on the dashboard. So this is a clean dashboard. No data is in here for personal, because I want you guys to see what it looks like when your account is new and the account is fresh. So the first thing that we want to do is set up our chart of accounts. And so our chart of accounts is what will allow us to basically properly categorize the expense activity or the financial income resources that we have that is according to your use. Okay, so to do that, we're going to go under the accounting tab and we want to check for the chart of accounts. So Wave will already have lots of asset accounts, different accounts that are already set up. What you can do, you can modify it, add whatever accounts you want to add later, additional bank accounts, loan activity, additional expense categories that may not be added. You can add that at any time, but there are accounts that are already defaulted in the chart of accounts that you can either delete or modify as you wish. But once you go through the chart of accounts, there's going to be 5 areas. One will start with your assets. So that's all your liquid cash, any money that's in transit, any accounts receivable. Like if you're expecting to get a refund from the IRS or from your state and local government, that will be a receivable to you if you do a refund. There's other categories that's underneath there as well. You can put property under there, assets, like anything that's a form of an asset can go under this. Next will be your liabilities and your credit cards. So this will capture all of the credit cards that you have, all of your loans that you have, any accounts payable that you have, and that is if you do have any that's set up for any vendors that you have. Your next will be your income. So these will be all of your income sources. So if you have more than one income source, you could either add additional categories under your income, or you could do different things to segregate it. I'm going to show you that a little bit later because I do have a couple of things set up for the different types of income that I have coming in. So it's very, very good to be able to segregate that so you can properly analyze your data, but you can modify it again. Expenses, again, like I was saying, Wave has all of the expense activity pretty much already set up, and you can delete whatever is not applicable to you, or you can add as you wish. And then the equity is the last one, which would be your net worth, your overall net worth. And I'll go through calculations on this a little bit later, but this is good for you to be able to see, okay, what is my net worth? And we know that your net worth is your assets minus all of your liabilities. So Wave will do all of this for you. Once you put your data in, you'll be able to see beautiful reports and data that you can analyze. It's just super easy. And I'm going to show you what you have to do in order to get your information uploaded into the system so that you can easily categorize them and get the data uploaded. So to do that, we're going to go back to the dashboard, and you could upload your transactions one of 2 ways. You could either connect directly to your bank account, or you can upload or import any downloadable statements that you can download from your banking. But we're going to walk through an example of really quickly of what it looks like to connect directly to a bank. So when you do that, we're going to go under banking. Or once you click on that box, it'll take you under banking. And then you could either click on the icon that shows the bank that you have available, or if your bank isn't there, you can go into the search box right here and type in your bank, and it will begin to come up. And once you do that, it'll connect. You'll have to put in your username and your password for your banking, your online banking account. And then once you get finished through the prompts, put in your security code. They may ask you to put in the security code. Once you do that, it'll begin to import your transactions automatically. Okay. But now if you don't have because sometimes it could be an instance where there may be connectivity issues. Your bank may not allow another third party app to be able to integrate into their banking records. So it may be some stringent that won't allow you to be able to connect. But if it does connect, I will highly recommend that you just do it that way. It's easy because it'll automatically import. But if not, you have difficulties, the alternative could be to upload and download the statement. So I'm going to walk you through that piece of uploading your bank statement. So what you want to do when you upload your bank statement, you have to make sure that it is in a CSV format, and it has to be properly formatted so that the dates, the amounts, and the description headers that are properly labeled in the first row of the file in your CSV file. Because if it's not uploaded, then Wave won't be able to read it properly, and it'll have some issues with the import. But typically when you download your bank statements from your online account, it's normally in the right format where it'll have the date, the description, and the amounts. But if not, you want to double check your CSV account to make sure that the date is reflected in the very first row, the amount, the description, so forth. So you won't have any issues during import. Okay, so once you get to the process of uploading, you will select the CSV file that you downloaded, and then you'll select the payment account. So remember, this goes back into the chart of accounts. So in this case, this is a credit card that I am uploading the bank statement for. So this is an example of the transactions that I want to fall under this particular account, which is my credit card account. Once you select that, you'll click upload. And then it'll take you to this part where you have to verify that the columns are correct. So this is what I was talking about. So it's going to ask you to verify what the correct date is. You'll click confirm date. Then it's going to ask you what is the proper amount. Sometimes it could be 2 columns depending on how your bank statements download. Sometimes it may have a debit and a credit, or withdrawal and a debit. So you just kind of have to know your debits and credits and which ones to select, but it'll be pretty easy. In this case, it's only 1 column, so it's only asking me to confirm the amount. But typically, if you have 2 columns, Wave will ask you to confirm your deposits. So you confirm the deposits, and then they automatically know that the other column is the withdrawals. Next, you want to make sure that you're selecting the proper description. This piece is going to be vital because it will allow you to properly categorize your expense activity, because this is the information that's going to be imported as the expense transaction once it's uploaded in Wave. So you have to make sure that you're selecting the right description and not like a reference number, because you won't be able to tell what that is if you select the reference number as opposed to who the actual payee was. So once you verify that, it will ask you to confirm. It'll highlight all of the things that you check, and it'll say, okay, hey, upload my statement. So you'll click upload my statement. And then your transactions will begin to upload. So this is an example of just one of my accounts. This is my Navy Federal account. I don't care that you guys see that got $35 in there. I don't mind. It's okay. So this is one of my accounts, and I just want to show you what it looks like to categorize your transactions. So this is some new activity that came in from my Navy Federal. One thing I like about Wave is that although you have multiple accounts, you're able to segregate which account you want to look at one time, as opposed to looking at all of them. So in this case, I just want to see my Navy Federal checking. So I'll select that. These 2 were the new transactions that came in that needs to be categorized. And so I had these 2 transactions are related to Apple. So the one that's for $1.05, I'll show you here. This is related to my storage. So because we iPhone users, you know, you have to have iCloud storage and things of that nature. And so I have like the least amount of storage that charges. So the recurring pay for that is $105. And so to make sure that I'm properly categorizing this, I consider this an expense that's directly related to the cost of my mobile phone. So I'm categorizing this transaction to mobile. And so there are other transaction types that you can use. Like if you wanted to use subscription, it could be considered a subscription, or whatever you want to use, you can change it. But for me, I wanted to tie this cost directly to the cost of my phone, because that's what it is. It's storage for my phone and I pay for it. So I'm categorizing it as that. The next Apple payment was actually related to an app that I purchased. So I purchased a meditation series, and it cost me $45. And so because I knew that this was something related to a app that I purchased, or a form of book, or something that was self-development for me, I categorized it in the music, books, and movies category. Sorry, you guys. I categorize it as the movies, books, and DVDs category, which kind of falls into my personal development kind of self bucket. So I want to kind of put that in that expense there. Okay. And so the next thing is looking at your income. So I want to show you, if you wanted to modify your chart of accounts, you can add a different type of income type. So for me, I use my credit cards for almost everything. If it's something that I have to spend, I try to put it on my credit cards, and I use my rewards card so that I'm able to get the points, because if I'm going to spend, I might as well get a little bit more something for it if I have to make the purchase anyway, right? And so what I want to do is segregate the income that I receive from my rewards. And so I'm going to add a new account under income so that I'm able to separate my rewards income as it's received. So if you click on chart of accounts, you go to income. So if you click on chart of accounts, you go to income, and then you go to add new account. It will show up like this. So it'll ask you to select your income type. In this case, it's going to be income. So you can have these options if you want to use regular income, discount, or other income. In this case, it's just going to be income. So I'll select income, and then I'm going to give the account a name, and I want this to be my rewards income so that I'm able to really segregate, okay, this is what I receive from credit card rewards. This is what I've been able to earn from that. And then you just click save, and then boom, the new account has been added. And then now I want to show you what that looks like to categorize some income to that category. Okay. So another thing we want to do is categorizing a little bit of your expenses. So like I was explaining a little bit earlier, you can change the expense category at any time. And so, because one thing I like about Wave as well is it will remember what you've categorized a previous description as. So the next time that information comes in, it'll automatically categorize it to that expense area. And so in this case, these are two new transactions that came in under my Bank of America credit card. And because I have Verizon, you guys know, if you don't know, I'm a caregiver to my mom. So I pay her expenses as well as my own. And so I have two Verizon transactions, but one is for my mom's house and one is for mine. And so I want to make sure that I'm segregating those two, because I do keep track of what I spend on behalf of my mom, like how much her expenses and stuff came up to, because I keep that for claiming purposes. Because I provide for my mom, I kind of have to show proof that I've been providing more than 50% of her living expenses, so I can claim her. And I have proof of that because I track everything that I pay on her behalf. And so what I want to do is change one of these Verizon expenses, because it's not pertaining to my internet expense. It actually pertains to my mom's household expense. So what I'm going to do is show you what it looks like to change this. I want to change this from internet to mom's expense. So all I have to do is click on this drop down box. It'll open up all of the expense accounts, and you can use the search box just to begin to type it in. So I'm going to type in mom, and as you can see, it comes up. So I just click on that. Once you click on that, it automatically changes to mom's expense. And this is what I was talking about when I tell you that Wave will remember how you categorize something. And so because I recently changed this, they're asking me, hey, we found another transaction with the same description, Verizon. Do you wish to change the category? So if you wanted to, let's say if I had 15 different Verizon transactions and I wanted to change them all to mom's expense or internet expense or whatever the expense all at once, I would just click on review transactions, and then it'll pop up, a separate box will pop up that will show the category and then the expense type that you're putting it in. And then you'll just click done or click save or click change, and then it'll automatically change the categories for all 15 of the transactions within one push. So that's what I love about it. All right, so now you can see the expense transaction was changed, and then this will now be reflected in the bucket for mom expenses. Okay, and so another thing I want to share and show with you guys is that we want to make sure that all transactions have been categorized. And so the quick way to check that is to look at all of the accounts, and I'm going to show you real quick. So like I was explaining, Wave will allow you to segregate each account if you want to look at them one by one, but we want to look at all of them. So we want to go down here and select all. Once you've done that, all of your account activity will show up. Don't mind this negative, y'all. I got a lot going on right now, but this is everything that will show up. And so what we want to do is filter for any uncategorized transactions. So the quickest way to do that is to click on this filter icon. Once the filter icon opens, this will pop up. We want to select the drop down menu here and begin to check the box for uncategorized. Once we check that box, we click apply. And then ideally, this is what we want to see. We don't want to see any transactions that have been uncategorized. If they have been uncategorized, you want to make sure that you put them in a place, put them in a bucket, put them in a position, because we have to know where our money is going. And I'm telling you, if you put your transactions in the correct category, when you run your reports in Wave, it'll be so easy for you to see exactly where all of your money went. So ideally, this is what you want to see. Okay, so one more reminder that I want to share with you guys is to make sure that you refresh your bank connection periodically, because you want to make sure that your most recent transactions are imported. So as you can see here, Wave will do it automatically. I think it's like maybe once a day or maybe once a week. You can set you can set the frequency if you want the transactions to import daily. If you wanted to import weekly, if you wanted to import monthly, you can set the intervals. But you can also have the option to update it right away. So if you log in and you see that this hasn't been updated in 4 days and you want to pull in your most recent transactions, you'll just hit update. And this is only if you have an account connected. Now, if you don't have an account connected, of course, you would go the route of uploading your transactions into the system. Okay, so I hope that you guys found tremendous value in this training. And as you know, I do homework, so you will definitely have some homework. I have some homework to share with you guys. What I want you to do is create a Wave account. Let me do it this way. Yeah, that looks better. So create a Wave account. I want you to make sure that you do that. You get yourself set up. It's a free account. You don't have to pay anything to to activate and utilize the software, and that's why I love it so much. So make sure that you set up your account. The next thing you want to do is, what's my next? Review and modify your chart of accounts. Go through waves, set up, go through all of your expenses, make a listing of all of the expenses that you have. Make sure that you review the chart of accounts with the pre-populated information that's in Wave, and modify your chart of accounts as necessary to add any additional expenses based on how you spend your money. Make sure that you also assign every single transaction into an expense category or an income category. It is very important that you do that. Do not forget. And next, I want to make sure that you schedule your weekly meetings. I know at the start of this training, I told you guys to pull out your phones, pick a day that you're going to commit to looking at your numbers, categorizing your transactions every single week or every single month, whatever you want your interval to be. But make sure that you schedule it, put it in your calendar, make it recurring, and commit to having those meetings. And then make sure that you're refreshing your connectivity when you have your banks connected inside of Wave. Now, if you found value in this training today, I want you to leave a comment and let me know, what was the value that you found in this training? What did you learn? What will you begin to incorporate? What was new for you? What value did you find? Share this with me, because I want to know how I can continue to bring value to you. And then also, I want you to share this out, because if you found value, that means that your friends or your loved ones will be able to find value in this training as well. So share this lesson with a friend, invite someone else into the room, and I want to remind you that your financial prosperity awaits you. Thank you for tuning in, and join me next week for the next midweek training. Have a great night.